Hey guys, Marissa at kitchentablestamper.com. This is video number 2 of a 2-part series about our sampler and sketch series. All right, so check out video number 1. It's linked in the description below for more details about our sampler and sketch series. So registration for our paper sampler is now open. We are going to be sampling papers from the new spring catalog and online exclusives, as well as from the scrapbooking brochure here. All right, all the details for our paper sampler are in the description below. You can click through to the printable flyer with all the details. You can click through to the FAQ video. And if you've got any questions or if you want to join us, you can email Marissa at kitchentablestamper.com. So a lot of you are asking, what is this sampler and sketch series? So this is our warm-up. This is our free sample, okay? We're gonna make this card. We're gonna make this card using shortcut card sketch number 13. You'll be collecting shortcut card sketch number 13. If you are a previous shortcut card sketch or sampler and card sketch customer, you've collected 1 through 12, we're going to pick up with 13. 14 and 15 will be brand new sketches, all right? So you can get them laminated if you want to. We're going to make this card using paper from our sampler and the two-tone cardstock add-on pack. All right, so when you get the sampler, either with the PDF sketches or with PDF sketches and the concierge laminated one, you're going to get all of the papers that are listed in the quantities that are listed, the low profile dots and the satin ribbon. So we're going to use these things to make a card. We're going to have 3 more in this series where you're going to use the sketch and the materials from your sampler. Craft along with me on Fridays, alternating Fridays between January 24th and February 21st. All right, so 3 alternating Fridays, and it'll go like this. So today we're going to make shortcut card sketch number 13, and we're going to use some of the gorgeous two-tone cardstock and do some fun technique with it. Now, when you buy both the two-tone sampler pack and either and any of the paper levels, we're also going to throw in some samples of the celebration papers. So just if you're considering that right now, I wanted to get this video out to you and let you know that when you do both, you get the samplers of the celebration paper, which includes 1 6x6 of each pattern that's available in celebration. All right, so we're going to start with our 6x12 two-tone cardstock, and this one's Old Olive. You can see the outside is dark Old Olive, the inside light Old Olive, and then we're doing this fun technique with the panel. For our video today, we're going to use Mossy Meadow. All right, so when you get your Mossy Meadow cardstock, two-tone cardstock in the sample pack, it's going to have be 6x12, and we want to cut it down to 8.5 by 5.5 and use it as level A in our shortcut card sketch number 13. So let's go ahead and do that. This is what you want to do. You want to grab your paper trimmer and you want to cut down to 8.5 inches. Then after you cut down to 8.5 inches, then you want to turn and cut down to 5.5 inches. That's going to give you the most useful pieces of your two-tone cardstock for more projects. So here's our card base. Now we can go ahead and score at 4 1/4, and I'm going to be very careful. I don't usually score on my trimmer because I tend to cut instead. And now we've got level A on our card base. Now we're going to get crazy with our bad selves and we're going to add a layer. So after layer A comes layer B, which is 1 1/4 by 3.5, and that's our designer series paper and our sketch card. But we're going to add a layer that's 3.5 by 4 3/4. Because it's going to be a great way for you to use the scrap from cutting down to a card base and do a fun technique. All right, so it's 3.5 by 6. We're going to cut that down to 3.5 by 4 3/4. and give that a cut. Now we have our, we'll call this one A1/2. That's the layer that we're doing here, A1/2. All right, so let's do our card base with a bone folder. We want to work that score line. And here's the thing with two-tone cardstock. It's a printed cardstock. So what you want to do is fold the inside out first. So I've got the dark, and I'm folding the dark side in because this is a printed, it's not a solid core. And if anything stretches or cracks and you see any white, you want to see that white inside of your card, not outside of your card. And it does happen because it's printed, and it's printed on a fibrous material. As you stretch those fibers, sometimes you can crack the printing. And it's not anything wrong with the cardstock itself. In fact, it leads to some really excellent techniques. But if you look at the inside out part, you can see a little cracking. So do inside out and then right side in if you're going to use it as a card base. So now we've got the dark side for the outside of our card. And it's nice because automatically inside is a little bit lighter, which is nice if you're going to write a message in there. If you're going to layer up some more designs inside there, then it has a nice, beautiful mossy meadow, light and dark. Okay, so here's the dark sides. This is the light side. And when you layer them up, you start to build some glorious dimension. Do you see that? We're going to take this one step further. We're going to use this new embossing folder. This one is free with a $60 order during celebration. I love this product. There are some celebration products that are like, okay, I'll get that one maybe when I have leftover extra items to choose from celebration, maybe towards the end of celebration. There's some items that are like that. This item is such a great value, and it's top on my list of things to add in celebration for free. Now, unfortunately, I can't show you the inside of the brochure yet because by the time you see this video, it won't be launched yet. But this embossing folder is called the Starstruck Embossing Folder. It's 164972, and it's free with a $60 purchase. All right, so let's go ahead and pop our light side up. So that means you want the light side, you want to see the light side on the side that says Stampin' Up. We're going to pop this in the folder and make sure that the pattern kind of starts and stops in the same place. You know how I am about a balanced pattern. And then we're going to run this through the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. Now, it is a standard embossing folder. So when you do this embossing, you're going to set up your machine with 1, 3, and 3. You're going to take out 2. So 2 can go aside, and we'll pop in 3, and then our folder, and then 3. And wait till you see the gorgeous deep pattern that we're gonna get here. It's really a fun one. I think it has floral feel and firework feel, so I think you could pull out either look because there's a star in the center. So it kind of has like a starburst or a firework feel, but the burst almost looks a little bit petally. So it's kind of a chameleon. All right, we're going to now take this piece and one of these polar blocks. These are for manicures. I have been doing this technique for a very long time because I come from a previous direct sales company that had printed cardstock, and I have tried all kinds of blocks out on the market. I've tried other nail products. I've tried the one from the paint department. I've tried other lots of other different sanding blocks, and I just really love these polar blocks because they remove that printing and effectively but gently. So you see, we're actually removing the Mossy Meadow print from the raised areas in our embossing folder. And we're going to get this beautiful starburst pattern, but then we're going to take the starburst and we're going to capitalize on those chameleon properties of the starburst and pair it up with an oldie but goodie, the cheerful daisies, because it really does have a nice daisy feel to it. All right, when you're satisfied with the contrast, that's the other thing about these polar blocks, is you can go back and you can take a little bit more, you can take a little bit more, but you won't damage your paper. As long as you use a light touch, you can build how much contrast you're gonna get by removing the print. All right, so we're getting there. Do you see how beautiful it is? All right, so imagine the two-tone cardstock and all of your stash of embossing folders. You just got a whole new life for all those embossing folders. Let's go ahead and adhere this to the card front, centered. So we're gonna add to A1/2. Oh, by the way, okay, so here is the debossed side, which gives you a good before the polar block, before scuffing with the polar block, and after. All right, pretty cool, huh? I love this product and I hope you will too. That's why we're offering the two-tone cardstock add-on pack, so that you can get the product in your hands with a low threshold, right? And if you love the product, then you can start collecting the colors. If you're not so sure about the product, then you're not out a loss. I know you're gonna love the product. It's really an amazing product. All right, so our original card is Old Olive. So there's the light and dark with that fun technique, and then Mossy Meadow. All right, let's move on to our next layers and the sketch. And we have here B, C, and D, which is our designer series paper. I have Floral Delight designer series paper. And let's see here. B is 1 1/4 by 3 1/2. C is 3/4 by 4 1/2. And D is, oops, I did those wrong. Hold on. C is 3/4 by 4 1/2. And D is 1 by 4. Okay, and we're going to go ahead and put those on the card front. I'm going to use liquid glue for these, and we'll follow our sample. And you'll notice I also did a mirror image of it. I'm putting D where B is, and I'm going to put B where D is. That's the fun part about these card sketches. You can add to them like we did with our emboss layer. You can mirror them. You can rotate them. You can do whatever suits your creativity. All right, so there's our designer series paper, our layers B, C, and D. Now E is any shape of your choice. So I went ahead and die cut from Pecan Pie this postage edge rectangle. It's about 2 by 2 3/4 here. And I'm gonna go ahead and adhere that to my card front. And I'm going to use more liquid glue and pop that on high of center. And then I like to roll up the ends of my banners just a little bit. If you don't like the look of that and you want to glue them down flat, go for it. I like a little bit of texture and movement. All right, let's slide aside for just a minute, and we're going to bring in our last piece from the sketch. So F here is any shape of your choice also. I've got some crumb cake cardstock, and this is 3/8 of an inch by 3 1/8 of an inch. I mentioned before that we're using the Cheerful Daisy. So maybe you've had this Cheerful Daisy stamp set or dies. It's been around for quite a while. You Made My Day is from the Cheerful Daisies. And Cheerful Daisies is photopolymer, so I've got my Stampin' Pierce mat. My ink pads for this project, very simple stamping here. Lots of die cutting and a little embossing for the win. Got Early Espresso and Pecan Pie. And You Made My Day. I'm going to stamp Early Espresso all the way to the left of this banner, leaving some room for that gorgeous bow with that satin ribbon that comes with the PDF sketch or the concierge sketch level of our paper sampler. And you're going to use the same paper sampler, different papers, combined with this gorgeous ribbon and the beautiful low profile dots. All right, so let's go ahead and take a little strip of the satin ribbon, and we're going to tie a bow, and then we can adhere this little bow to our greeting using a mini glue dot. I'm going to take my mini glue dot and my take your pick tool, and I'll roll up the glue dot. Since this ribbon is so fine, I love this stuff. You're going to see how well that this ribbon coordinates with so many of the papers that are coming in the new scrapbooking and the new catalog release. All right, so we can set that aside, and let's grab some pecan pie cardstock. We need just a little scrap, and we're going to stamp the center of the big flower with pecan pie. Now I need the pecan pie ink again in just a minute, but we're going to set it aside because we're going to die cut the flower centers and flowers next. Let me show you some of the die cutting I did ahead of time. So we would have a few less passes through the machine on the video. I took the flower details, the big flower details, and I cut one of the flowers from Berry Vanilla, and I cut two of the leaves from Old Olive. Now, if you're gonna do this combination, I did my leaves from Mossy Meadow since my card base was Old Olive, okay? Then I also did ahead of time one of the small flower centers because we're gonna cut two of them and there's only one die set, so we got ahead of one by the magic of television. We got our pecan pie, and then I also have for die cutting one more thing here. I have a piece of Very Vanilla cardstock, and I put some of that adhesive sheet on the back, so this will be peel and stick. All right, let's put aside what we've got magic of television. Let's grab the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, and we're gonna make a few more pieces here. All right, so we've got to get back from die cutting, or from embossing to die cutting. So we're going to do one, and then we've got to put two back in there, three, and then our cardstock. Make sure that you have the adhesive side down. We're going to cut all these little details for our daisies. And we're also going to cut one more small flower center and cut out the stamped flower center. Okay, so we've put those through the machine, and we can set aside our stamped center and then bring back in our Stampin' Pierce mat. And we're going to do a little bit of scratch paper here, cover our mat, pecan pie, and then that big flower center. And we're just going to use the big flower center to give the small one some texture. See that? All right, now we're done with our stamping. Let's go ahead and close up pecan pie and bring in our bits. Okay, we've got our bits here. These details here are going to add an amazing tone-on-tone texture. So we'll pop them out of the dies. And then I'm going to take the little details and just run the pad of my thumb against the edge and remove the sticky back. It's that easy. This product is amazing. You don't need to have fingernails. You don't have to scrape with a tool. Just hold the die cut and rub the edge against the pad of your thumb. Then you'll have lift, and then you can peel the backing right off. And now that detail, an amazing detail, is just pick and stick. Love it. And you can see what we're getting here is almost an embossed kind of a look. This one has no details. And then these two have those amazing little something extra. All right, now I'm going to trim right here because that's where the leaf is attached. But that's not what we're going to do. So we're going to trim and then add the centers of our flowers with some mini dimensionals. All right, there's our flowers. Our leaves are ready. Let's bring in our samples. Now we can adhere our daisies with some liquid glue. Ooh, I don't know which one I like better, the Mossy Meadow card base or the Old Olive card base. I guess we'll see as we get the leaves in here. And just swipe a little bit of glue kind of at the base of the leaf. You don't have to use a lot of glue to hold it. And if you leave the ends a little bit loose, it's kind of a nice dimension. And oh, I've got a little bit extra here. There. In fact, I'm going to lift the ends just a little bit. More glue just at the stem and the base here. And we'll tuck those guys in down here. And then our sentiment, you made my day. Such a quick, beautiful card. I'm going to line up my sentiment with the edge of that embossed. And then in between the raised centers. Can trim our ribbon down just a little bit here. Clean up the ends. Isn't this Daffodil Delight ribbon adorable? You'll be surprised how many of the new designer series papers this ribbon coordinates so nicely with. And last touch, let's add a little bit of sparkle. Every project needs a little bit of sparkle. We'll be using these embellishments on the 3 additional card sketch cards through the series. They're very versatile. They are exactly what they say, low profile, so they'll be nice and less problematic to mail these guys. In the US, sometimes these dingles are the enemy of the post office equipment. So these low profile ones are really nice. They're very low profile. We're going to add 5 of them because you're going to get a whole pack for your card series. So why not really glam it up? And there it is. You made my day in Mossy Meadow and Old Olive two-tone cardstock. If you guys have any questions about our paper sampler and sketch series, how to get the links, you're going to email marissa@kitchentablestamper.com. To shop Stampin' Up 24/7, buzz over to marisaalvarez.stampinup.net. And thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.